Let's see if our b4 and knight c6 remains as effective as it has been so far. Okay, well, we got an easy one here. Go with e3. Always like the c4 move. Doesn't look like d4 can be played. Now I am going to take this. When a knight can't take back, it feels like no matter what piece goes in the middle, I'll be happy to respond with knight c3. Hit that bishop. You know, this bishop could come out to c4 next. A great looking diagonal. When your opponent plays f6, immediately I look at that diagonal with queen b3. Look, I'm starting to get some ideas. What can I say? I'm threatening checkmate in 2. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. Even knight f5 does not really stop checkmate in 2. It's gonna have to be a queen move. Best I can see. Bishop g7 also does the trick. Of course, does not stop the check. I don't think there was any stopping the check, but does stop mate. Now, how to continue? We could give the check, but I'm not sure that that really does anything. I really am not too sure that, because he can't castle anyway, so I don't know. Are we really that excited? I think we're gonna play d4. Let's see if our opponent wants to take, wants to push. I was gonna say wants to maybe take here. This looks tempting. I don't think it's going to be correct, but let's see. My idea was to castle, and every single piece that we have is basically opened up now. And if you take here, of course, we have a very nice continuation. c5, okay. Our opponent is asking for something bad to happen here. We're going to have to, I think taking makes sense first. And although moving the knight looks good, I actually think bringing the rook to e1, activating our final piece, could be a very nice continuation. We've got bishop a3, we've got knight d5. I'm liking all the above here. Yeah, both of these moves look pretty much unstoppable. It's really just a choice how we want to continue. Let's go for this one. We got knight d5 coming next. And bishop g5, we can toss in the move f4 for good measure. But look at every single piece being used here. Every single piece. Okay. Well, can definitely take. The question is whether something like queen h3 would be a good move or not. You know, there is queen c8 in that position. We can respond rook takes d4. The alternative is simply to take here. And honestly, that looks pretty damn good and very hard to refuse. So I think what's probably going to happen is I will take. Let's start by taking with what? The knight. Do the knight first. And then I think I'm going to use the bishop next. We'll see what he does. He might not take it. If he doesn't, checkmate should be imminent. Ooh, okay. So he can take this, but I mean, I'm assuming that we're just going to move this knight somewhere. Let's go this way just because why not? Okay. Can we take it with the queen? You know, marginally more satisfying than taking with the rook, of course. And now, just to make it a nice little combination, rook takes d8 and a queen sack for checkmate. The crowd goes wild. GG. Hello, Mauro. You're here for the Buddy Pranav approved speedrun. Welcome. I know you've been boycotting the speed run prior to that information, but glad to see you've been converted. Good day, Tarnished. This move was just about activating every single piece. I mean, having to play f6, not really a good sign in the opening. When the pawn's attacked, that'll be my cue to push it. And c4 is the nice move we like to play to undermine the center. In this case, if there's no knight to take, it's an easy capture because both of these pieces are going to need a reaction after knight c3. And just look at the power on this diagonal. And I do think d4 opening the center is the right way to play. And yeah, this is a picturesque position where every single one of our pieces is doing something towards the position. And you can tell because the checkmate also used every single piece we had. All right, it's Tom Gallagher. Let's play e3. I just want to be able to play b5 if needed. For example, here, I'm immediately thinking about this one just to challenge here. Let's go knight f3, bishop there. So the f6 pawn is looking a little bit unusual. I was gonna say you'd have to assume that e5 is coming, but not quite. So I think we'll just continue to kind of play a normal game here. We can even just play d4. I'll play a4, don't mind. We have a b5 move coming up. Knight b6. Definitely not a crazy move. Understandable to try to get something here. I'm gonna play knight d2 because I'm not ready to close the game completely. And knight d5, we do have the move e4 to kick the knight, and I think we should throw this move in, although we take here, we have to deal with rook e8, queen g4. It looks like it should work, but we just have to calculate those. And it's with check, so there's no time for our opponent to sneak any moves in. Now, I think we have to defend this pawn, so although queen f7 is an idea, I think queen g4 makes the most sense. Again, feels important to defend this, so rook e1, and if f5 we can take it because that is defended. Backwards bishop moves here. An escape square would be nice. I'm expecting that black is trying to play one of these two moves, which would definitely be very logical. So let's do this. Let's bring the rook up. I think we're kind of doing the same thing. We're both doubling here. We have an escape square. I'll probably support it with g3. And really, we just have one extra pawn. That's the claim to fame here. Let's take this one. And now what happens if we just take and then take here? We're not getting mated. So I have to assume that this is a good move. Ooh. See, now this is going to be a mistake. I could take the rook, which is fantastic. We even have a discover check after. But the reality is I can just take here. And the bishop is defending the rook. So whatever that was did not quite work out. Oh, this is probably going to be the end of the line here. But really, a lot of the openings, if we don't get a very quick win, what ends up happening is we're just kind of playing a regular game where maybe our opponents played f6 for some reason. The knight's not on the best square, therefore. The center's not open, the pieces aren't developed. So we end up just playing kind of a regular, maybe d4 type of position, except we're ahead like 4 to 5 moves. And that's exactly what happened here. Like f6, g6, knight going to e7. Just compare the two positions. We got 4 pieces out. We're castled. We have more space. And this bishop has just been terrible. The only reason that we didn't maybe have that bishop be a terrible piece the entire game is because we won a pawn. And that's all she wrote. Sometimes you can pull the trick where you let your time run and then you make a move with 0.2 seconds on the clock, just to check if your opponent has left the board. He might think because it's taken so long that maybe I've left. So it's like you wait all the way till the end, then just chuck one move in just to be sure. You never know. It's a critical moment here. Time warning. We could make a pre-move, but if it happens, of course, I want to give my opponent the impression that it was a big brain activity and very smart. And what do you know? We won on time. The game didn't abandon. Nope. Tom Gallagher just decided to sit that one out. Well, fortunately for us, Tom had so much time on his clock that we already reviewed the entire game before it ended. On to the next one. Let's put the bishop on b2, where we always put it. I think the pawn is fine to just leave there for now. Okay, there is a threat here. Just thinking we have queen b3, we have d3, we have a few ways to deal with that. How do we want to do things? Yeah, queen b3 kind of walks into a pin, so it feels a bit strange. Maybe d3 just temporarily. Although I will say queen b3 is the move that I want to play, definitely. Let's do this one. Bishop e7, I'll do more of the same myself. Castle a4 looks like a pretty good looking move. It's hard for black to come up with anything too crazy here. Could consider e4 perhaps if you want. Try to dislodge things. I'm gonna go for a4. That feels reasonable. a5 now. I'm starting to really expect the move d5 next. And for that reason, not only does d4 come to mind, but so does knight g5, just as an idea. I'll keep those moves in mind, and I think I will go queen b3. I like the idea of a rook on c1 here. As expected, we are going to see this move. We can take. We can also play knight here, and I think that knight here is calling my name in order to get rid of the light squared bishop, which I think has to stay on e6 right now. Can we take this first? Technically, the knight gets trapped there. Technically, the knight gets trapped there. Although we can at minimum retreat there, so I think it's the right thing to do. Now, we can take. I do think this one is tempting. Just to cover that square. Perhaps I'll play c5 next, which will uncover a threat on the e6 pawn. Now I'm thinking about this. So many moves we'd like to play here. I'll start with c5. I do think it's important to open up on this e6 pawn. We're handing over that square to black, but effectively I'm planning to play e4 and bishop c4. And so I view it as something just temporary. Let's see if that's actually the case. I'll go g3 to stop knight f4. My next move, I think, is going to be e4. And we're just slowly going to evict this knight. Like this. Knight takes, we'll take back with the bishop. And this is a target. But yeah, these pawns are the targets here. They're very easy to attack. Something like bishop here. Yeah, we could even play bishop g4, kind of similar. King g2. One reason I chose this is I thought it might be nice to cover the f3 square. I think I'm going to do this first. I know it's a free pawn with check, so perhaps this is not ideal, but I'm going to go for the game plan of just increasing the pressure to the maximum. Rook d1, we're attacking this. Here we can even take this one. Just feels like every piece kind of needed to be exactly where it was, so having to move anything is a little uncomfortable. Let's stick to that idea, keep the pressure. I'll take that. Check. And in comes the rook to d7. This is a really tough one to deal with. Unfortunately, king h6, we can chase the king back there. And this rook does not have many great places to go. And that's a lot of pawns. GG. GG to the dealer. This is going to become more and more common, so get used to it. People are not going to be hanging entire things on this diagonal. They're just going to defend, which is why we come with the quick c4. And it's always queenside play. Eventually it might be d4. In this case, black is effectively, if you remember previous speedruns we've done, black is effectively playing the Philidor. And one of the things you cannot do is ever lose that bishop. So that's sort of why we went for knight g5 there. And once we got e4, this is a strategically winning position due to the weaknesses. And they're just going to be impossible to keep defended. All right, bishop b2. We'll go with our c4 move. We do want to play knight c3, but at the moment, we've got b4 hanging. Looks pretty normal here. Let's bring the knight. A solid setup from black here. Maybe h6. I think bishop e2. After knight here, we probably have d4. It does allow the knight to jump into e4, but we also gain quite a lot of time there. The other option is to play d4 straight away, but I don't really see the particular benefit to that. Okay, now on this one, there's always the consideration of taking here, apart from taking on b5. But due to the move b4, I think we're going to have to abstain. Let's take this way. With We'd love to take and perhaps get e4 in, but that's slightly difficult to achieve. Yeah, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that successfully. We can take, but I don't think we're really getting that move in, which is okay. Take here. We get the classic central majority versus the queenside majority. So that looks like it will be the battle when it comes to this position. This knight, I'm not sure that really needs to be there. Felt like a6 and b5 was going to be played. So let's bring it back to civilization a little bit. Knight b4 can be played. Maybe d3, maybe d4, in fact. Not to mention, we're not threatening e4 just yet, but against a move like knight b4, we can definitely consider it. I think that d4 does make the most sense. Knight c2 doesn't really do anything. Here, I think we will play the move e4. a3 also to kick the knight back. Queen b3 I quite like. This move kind of prepares a3. And yeah, rook d1, rook c1. I think those moves look correct. Rook's into the middle. I mean, we want to support this pawn. Could also go rook e1, rook d1, but there is a wide open file, so while it is takeable, perhaps there's rook b8 or something, so thought we'd leave it for now. Bishop h5, I think we'll play d5. I am pretty much ready to play the move d5, even on the previous turn. There's also e5. All these moves look pretty good. And one way to perhaps play queen takes b7 is maybe to start with bishop a3. So if we need to, we can. Let's go for bishop a6. We'll just kind of annoy the pieces a little bit. In general, we like knight b5. There is a pretty good reaction knight a5 there. So we'll respect that and assume that knight a5 is in the wheelhouse. I think we like the look of that, but let's play bishop b5. And I think so much time has passed without d5 on the board that, I mean, we kind of have to go for it. It's surely a must play now. There is a pin here. There's a pin and some threats on my knight on c3, I admit. But this definitely feels correct. We can take here. Let's move this knight. And I think after we do this, that's just about all we need to do. We've won the piece. Now it's just about holding on. It's a good move. I think we can play this. This is well defended. Bishop e7. We can take a step back. I chose this square so that we were still watching the e-pawn. Yeah, rook c1 perhaps. Rook takes c4 looks good. And we get to take this one. It's a lot of material. It's about to be two pieces. And if we take and there's queen d1, we do have queen e1, so we're not checkmated, which is actually very important to look at. I would expect bishop c6. Bishop c6, reasonable. Queen d7, also reasonable to try to go for that. So I thought there were still a few moves here. Normal game. Black is setting up a very standard looking position. castles, takes, and I mean, it feels like this is a position you could expect to see probably at a much higher rating than this. Like black just going for a very solid setup, no mistakes, castling. We're doing the same. We have a little bit more space here, but that's about it. So what can we say? Solid game. He really didn't make any serious mistakes in the opening. Okay, hung a little bit of material later, but we just wanted to bring all the pieces into the action. And d5 is the real breakthrough. Once we had everything sort of lined up on their best possible squares, makes sense that there's usually a breakthrough. Okay, the pawn still cannot be taken because we're threatening g7. So here we go. Let's play c4. He's going to be able to play bishop there. Nothing we can do about that. We'll take some space over there. Okay, knight e4 does look to trade some pieces. Guess we'll try to reduce perhaps how many pieces get traded. a5 is a move that looks pretty good to me. I think we'll just ignore this. You want to take me, that's fine. I'm really liking the weak light squares here. That's all because of this b4, b5 from the opening. This pawn appears to be free. Let's take it. I like free things. We'll take this. We'll bring the rook down to a7. Rook c1. And we might need an escape square, so I'm probably going to play g3. Kind of like this because I'm expecting black to maybe play bishop f8. But definitely a move like g3 or h3. In this case, honestly, I'm considering g4. It gets what I want with tempo. And h4 to support this does make sense. We could take on c7, even though this is hanging, we do take f7. Just about determining what's worth it. So I think we're gonna take to start, play h4, and then take on c7. And there's no rook f8. There was rook f5, but he hastily gave a check there. So now he doesn't have it. And now I think there's real problems. Gotta be bishop here. Unfortunately, this is gonna wind up being just a checkmate in 2 moves here. Rook a1 is crafty. I'm not gonna lie. We could try to avoid it if you want. I mean, he can play moves like this, so it's not really the biggest deal. Even if we take it, we're still up a bishop, so we don't mind taking these rooks. Yeah, bishop here or bishop here should both lead to a checkmate. I actually think this one is easier because check, check, and mate is pretty much unstoppable. And you can always pre-move this move. It's safe, it's protected. There's nothing that can really get in the way. Check, check, and mate. Bishop is covering f8. We have this hanging as well, but we don't need to take it right now. And we're working our way up to 1300s. B4, play B5 only when it's actually attacked, when G7 gets defended. So that's the cue. Then B5. Usually we go for a quick C4, bishop E2, knight C3. And that's exactly what we did here. D4, a move that we usually play in the middle game. And in our case, because I saw this, I'll just go for A5. It's a nice way to put some pressure on the bishop, perhaps threaten A6 ideas. And he wants to trade and make the light squares weaker and then hand me a pawn. I'm not gonna say no. Easy. All right, B4, let's go, bishop, B2. Oh, even at 1400, people are blundering this, thinking that we're hanging our B pawn. Come on now. I thought we were done with this. We're gonna become a 1400 thanks to that. Oh no, this has the makings of queen B2 all over it. Okay, so he is going to keep the bishop locked in there. I find myself interested in queen b3 to try to get a queen trade. Also knight d4 to trade the bishop. Let's go for this one because we'll win the e-pawn if the bishop goes back to g6, for example. Queen b3, I still like as a move. Let's go to f4. It's going to be so long before black actually makes a threat on this bishop, so I'm not that concerned. Takes here looks very correct. Obviously, taking back is a horrible move, but I don't think black is going to do that. Queen h5 is in the air. Yeah, I am liking queen h5. Bishop takes b1 is not really anything. There's queen takes h7. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take that. This is not really a threat that matters, but for sure you have to play this anyway. And now there's a couple of ideas. We can definitely take here. d6 comes to mind, sends the king back there. And I just may do that. We can also take here, but yeah, I do think I like this one. King takes, of course, is no good. But king here, I think very likely to be played. And we want to make sure we save this rook, that's all. Oh, well, that'll definitely be a pretty big blunder from Grogolino. And that'll put us up to 1400. Hey, what can we say? Even at 1400 ELO, people are still taking on b4 and blundering g7. I didn't expect this tactic to be working all the way up to this point. Like, I expected to get some quick wins, sub 1,000, maybe 11, 1,200, but 1,400, we're still profiting. This has been a great investment. The Polish has been very effective so far. Polska Górą, for sure. And we got the coveted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bishop checkmate today. Very, very difficult to achieve. We've been waiting for that for a very long time. Oh, to the moon, Zoya. Are you kidding? Knight c6, f5? Surely be able to take that all the way. It's possible playing some tough competition and we run into some difficult lines, but it seems like the kind of thing that you can machine learn very quick. If we have a bad opening in that against a strong player, I'll be reviewing. First loss in this speedrun, white or black pieces? That's a great question. I definitely think that our knight c6 f5 presents itself as more of a target for a loss. Also, it's more likely you lose with black than white, just in general. So the math is to say with the black pieces. But as Eviscerated points out, we ain't losing. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of another episode of the 1v4 speedrun. I hope you found this as tricky and successful as I did in the series. And remember to subscribe to the chessbrah YouTube channel if you're not already, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we drop our next upload.